Welcome back. We are here for you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Building a Mystery, Part 5. So, welcome back to Susan, our Anna player. It is your turn to pick which game we're going to play.
I would like to play the Fight It Out game or Meeting Fist to Fist.
Oof.
Um, but I am gonna need to talk through it first because
Mhm.
I'm not 100% sure I understand how it works, but I want to do it.
Okay, okay. That is fine. Fist to fist. Let's see, fight it out. Okay. I mean, it looks like you are essentially fighting with someone. Now, when I did this in one of the other games, it was a metaphysical fight. Like they were fighting, but they were fighting in a dreamscape
hmm
because since it was a human in a lucid dream, it had to be in a lucid dream because they were trying to fight an anomaly. So to keep it on equal ground, it had to be in that realm, right? It couldn't be like, there's no way in hell that the human could even match an anomaly if it was like in actually in the reality. So you could interpret this any way you like, right? I mean, bless you. But then you can see like your leading questions and your closing questions. So I mean, like, it is kind of physical, but I mean, who would you be fighting, right?
that I think that's where I'm getting confused on I think the mechanics of this game. I know it's me and a chosen partner. I know you guys can, like everybody could be witnessing and asking questions and
Mm-hmm.
adding things to the scene.
Yes.
But it says ask questions back and forth until an answer brings the fight to the close. And then I see my two columns. I have leading questions and closing questions, but the leading questions aren't exactly questions. So I am coming up with leading questions, and then I am also choosing one of these options on the leading questions column. Is that how it works?
No. So basically, the
Oh.
person with the most advantage or influence on the other begins. If you can't decide who that is, you toss a coin, right? So then whoever starts would take turns asking the leading questions. So, leading questions column, like, you do an action, which is touch me, glancing blow on my chest or arm. Do you, I ask you, do you press your attack or give me a moment? And then you answer it or whatever, and then you would take a turn asking a leading question, and then any
Oh,
time after the third question, either of you may choose to ask a closing question instead. So keep asking the questions back and forth until an answer brings the fight to a close. Keep in mind
oh,
that an
okay.
answer to a leading question might end a fight, while an answer to a closing question might allow the fight to continue depending on the circumstances. So, yeah.
Okay. So it's just like the chase one, except
Yes,
a fight is happening.
a fight is happening exactly, and
Okay.
yeah,
Now I get it.
you just have to wait until after the third question before you can start picking from the closing question column. Yep.
Okay. So I had this in my head that after our game of billiards, I had two things on my list. Anna was going to have a conversation with our dear Madame, a mental health check-in conversation. But she had also said that Anna told Carlos that she would check in on several of the residents here at the hotel and that Anna's skill set might come in handy helping some of them. So I'd like your guys' help figuring out the minutia of this, but I had it in my head that Anna went to help a guest. It went well, and then either on the second or maybe the third guest that she went to help, things went pear-shaped for some reason, and it ended up with her in this guest's room here in the hotel, and they are having a fight that Anna is trying to extricate herself from.
Amazing. Oh, wow. Who would she have a fight with?
My first place my brain goes is poltergeist. Some kind of poltergeist that's manifested to the point where you can have a fist fight with it. The second place my brain goes is some anomaly that is actively possessing that guest.
Oh, shit.
I like the second one that you said, the possession one. Is that good? We don't have any lines or veils against
No,
that, do we?
I
Okay,
don't think
cool.
so.
Where's our NPC tab? There it is. Are all of these fair game?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. How about Arnold? How what the description is tiny. How tiny are we talking? Am I like fighting somebody who's like 3 feet tall, or is it just
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an irascible short guy.
okay?
So
Just a
he's
just
a
a
little
short king.
person.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a little person, but I mean, he loves his job and he's hating on centipedes. And he loves like particularly weird cocktails that Remy makes, but that's just a aside. Yeah, he'll pop up every now and again. Maybe you come upon him like when he's in a particular room. You think there's a guest in there, but it's Arnold. Just think of it like, if anybody else wants to play him, that's fine. I mean, basically think of somebody very enthusiastic about exterminating uh, centipedes and, you know, just kind of skeptical of everything else.
Is this
Specifically
a
has it out for centipedes, apparently.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing.
Yep. So
is this a good fit? Because I could pick a different one.
it's up to you. I mean, like, you know.
First place my brain goes here is possessed by the creepy crawlies, but that feels like it might go real hard.
Ooh.
So maybe some other kind of spirit. The centipedes strike back. Um, a spirit of vengeance or retribution.
Or maybe this could be like you come upon. Do you visit the library again, Anna?
Hmm. Oh, probably.
Yeah.
She is curious.
I think when you step into the library, so let's make this really not easy, but I mean like, simpler to explain it away. I think when you step into the library, it's the strangeness, right? I mean like you see the stacks of books, but I mean like you have that dolly zoom feeling again where things just seem like they're stretching far away from you and yet close. And the front desk doesn't seem to be manned, and you know maybe you're trying to find a particular book um, that you were curious about before or what have you. Maybe when you find yourself in that particular section again, it's like you hear a familiar hiss. Well, you're back here again, aren't you, Miss Anna? Isn't it?
I will look around to see, am I alone with it, with them? Is there anybody else in here?
Have you come to play, Miss Anna?
I think in the shadows, you're not entirely sure you can see the door you came in through. It's almost as if you were in a like the stacks have sort of curled around behind you and it's books in all directions.
Oh, I take a deep breath and I roll my shoulders back underneath the shawl and I put on my best smile and I turn to face them. I have absolutely come here in search of something, and I'm glad I found you. Hello, how do today?
I seem to be solid. And as they say this, it's like you see the shadows seem to seep from between the books and solidify into more of a humanoid shape. It's a little too tall, a little too thin, but it forms into a humanoid shape that you can see with like these burning, glowing eyes with no pupils or anything like that. And you hear the hiss coming from it. Is
Anna,
that better?
Anna, did you come here to the library seeking something? or someone?
I came here looking for a thing. Uh, I when I was here last time, it felt like a bust, whether it was or not. Like that's I left feeling like I didn't accomplish much. I don't like that feeling. So curiosity and maybe frustration brought me back here looking for something, a clue as to if if any of the missing staff members' things are around, or if there's maybe a book that I don't know, seems interesting. Anna is willing to run a little more on gut instinct right now than she normally has before in her whole life. So she came here for a thing to help.
Do you think that carries her through to give her some gumption, some bravado, so this way she can face down the shadow in the stacks?
Yes. Um, I think also after the conversation after billiards and the slow acceptance that I am here
Mhm.
and that certain things are real, then there's gotta be a reason that I am here. There's a reason. Let's figure it out.
Do you say that out loud?
I don't think she does.
Okay. But those eyes bore into you like with their glow and like, you hear that hiss ask again, is this better? This form?
I don't know what the polite answer is to something like that. Let's see. And she reaches into her shawl and pulls out a charm. It's a little silver. It's it's meant to look like a tooth, but it kind of just looks like a hunk of silver and not even real silver. And she looks at it and I think just a burst of courage. I think she throws it at him and then she turns to run. Sneak attack. Ah.
And I think the camera will see you throw, run, but then like, the silver thingy will kind of like go not through the shadow, but like the shadow will kind of like shift itself so it's like not going to be hit by it just in case it is silver.
Damn it.
And yeah, right, 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 right. And then like it will kind of like do this weird little like wiggle, like where it's going to shift itself in front of you. And it's like, that's not polite. Running away. You, what is that they say in human terms? And the glow of their eyes digs deep. Fight or flight? You swear you can almost see a smile behind that shadow. What do you choose, Miss Anna? Fight or flight?
Mads, what does the lighting look like in the parasitic library? Is it just sort of ambient, you don't know where it's coming from, or are
Yeah.
there light fixtures, chandeliers?
I mean, like, maybe you see some floating chandeliers, like, where it's like distant, and so it kind of looks ambient, but then, like, there's going to be some light sources where it, like, kind of like somewhat shines serendipitously on certain titles in the library. You can't really tell where the nearby light sources are coming from. But yeah, I mean, like, there's enough light source that you can see this shadow distinctly from the rest of the places in this weird book clearing, if you can call it that. And you definitely see its glowing eyes. But it's challenging you. Fight or flight, Miss Anna.
Like the light sort of it's almost as if you're being spotlit, but there you can't tell where the spotlight is coming from. It's just as if a ray of light is bracketing you and the creature and the the floor space around the stacks where you currently are, and things outside that space are engulfed in shadow.
on the demand choose. It is almost like someone hit the pause button on a television, and in the back of Anna's mind, she hears her father's voice saying, "Sorry, baby girl, you gotta choose. You gotta choose." And then the play button is pressed again, and Anna growls, and it's like from just diaphragm up. It's almost like a vomit of a growl, and she throws all of her weight into uh, the hardest punch she's ever tried to throw.
Nice. All right. So let's go ahead and, you can go ahead and start with that leading question, which I know that there is one about a punch. Let's see. Yeah, throw your weight. Go ahead. Go ahead and ask your question.
So the question is, do you give ground readily or begrudgingly?
Ooh, I think, yeah, the shadow will give ground begrudgingly because, one, it wasn't expecting you to do that. It actually, the glow kind of like flickers as if it's shocked that you growled so fairly. And then if the shadow could kind of like seep and back away, that's kind of like what it's doing, right? As you try to land a punch on it, it's going to like slide, and like the glow kind of intensifies a little bit. And let's see. I think the shadow will grapple you into a hold. So as it's shifting away, it's going to like bring its like slink a shadowy tendril of an arm around your shoulders and like try to grapple you into a hold. Do you submit or twist and bite me to escape from my grasp?
Oh, I think if this was any other place, if this was any other thing, she would go limp. But I don't know. I think she's a little crazed right now. And and I don't know. Spirit of Edgar's not quite possessing her, but she just growled at this thing, so she's gonna twist and she's gonna try to bite at whatever is available near her in the hopes that it will let her go and she doesn't get like poisoned somehow.
When you try to bite into it, right? You get this like it's very what's the word? It's like rubbery. It's like going on a very very like tensile piece of chewy something or other, and it's like it's squishy. Yeah, it's like it's squishy, but I mean like not to the point of something's gonna goosh out of it, but I mean it's just
Mhm.
like rubber. Yeah. And it's just like, and you hear it like hiss, but not in necessarily like pain, but more in like surprise, is like as in, how dare you, that kind of thing. And go ahead, like your next move.
Yeah, I has it let go? Has the
Yeah, I mean, like it's
Okay.
it's trying to slither itself out of your your teeth.
Yeah, I will. I'll unclench and I'll take a step back, but I think we end up circling each other,
Hmm.
um, like like animals. It's slithering and me looking like I might growl again, wild-eyed, jaw jaw just down and almost set back a little bit. And what is it what does it say to me as I'm like this?
I think as you're like hunched over and you're like looking so like how a cat like tries to get its back up and look so much bigger than it normally does. Like it also tries to mirror you even in its like very thin, very tall form, and the glow of its eyes are just like flickering as if it's mad as hell, but it's trying not to show it. But you hear it hiss, and it says, "Ah, so the little guest has some bite. Ha! How does it feel having some fight in that body of yours, Miss Anna. No running here.
First time in my life I ever ran. I ended up in this place. She looks around her wildly. That was my one lesson. I've been fighting every day. I've been fighting. But I have to do it so that it doesn't look like a fight, don't I?
When you end it, it's like in that weird like little question. As you're saying that little question, I attack with like a swinging tendril, almost like I'm throwing a shadow, and it's trying to do like a whip smack to your face, and you barely dodge it, and a fraction slower, and I might have ended the fight for good. But does that exhilarate or chill you?
It, it chills me. I've never acted like this before in my life. And I'm getting away. But what is this place doing to me?
So you have the option of doing another leading question or doing a closing question since we've gone past 3. So it's up to you. You could stay feral or you could try to calm down.
I think. Oh, but I dodged it. Okay.
I mean, like, it doesn't have to be a very, very big dodge, you know? It could be like a slight dodge and then you do something else and come back to attack. I mean, whatever. Whatever you want to do.
So, yeah. So I think I do this to myself because I barely dodged
Okay.
the lash.
Okay.
And in that moment of like getting out of the way and this metacognition of like my teeth and my hands and my back and what is happening to me and the things that I'm saying, um, I get I get a little caught up in my skirt and I think I bump into a bookshelf and I'm just I'm disoriented. Instead of you knock me to the ground with a powerful blow, I think that I am disoriented and I go down onto one knee, um, off balance, tangled up in my skirts, and there's a moment for you to allow me to recover or force me to submit. Which one do you do?
Ooh.
I think while you were circling each other, there was a sort of a rattling murmur of pages turning that you could hear from the darkness as if the books were whispering to each other. And as you go down to one knee, silence falls.
And I think, you go down on one knee. Now, are you looking at the floor or are you looking up at the shadow?
I think I've been trying to look up at the shadow,
Mm-hmm.
but I I have to look down. I have to catch myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to fall face first in front of this thing.
Right.
So I do look down to catch myself, to grab at my skirts and like pull them from my boots, and then I think I will look up to to see the librarian above me.
I think that is what kind of happens because it's like you notice that like things have gone silent and you realize that like the shadow has not taken any advantage. And then you realize that one, the shadow is not looking at you or doing anything get ready to do anything to you because it's looking around and it's seeing that all of the books are waiting with bated breath and it's almost like it's in a position of listening and it will say, "No, who are you to judge?" And then you hear from behind you both, "It is not for anyone to judge, and you should not be in the position to be judged. Recede, shadow. This is the library. And I am the librarian. And you hear the shadow hiss, and the glowing eyes blink a lot as it like literally like seeps out and will like recede, like shrink and then recede down, make itself into your shadow before it actually like scuttles down into the floor opposite you and sink into the bookshelves beyond. And the librarian will come and help you up.
Oh, they help me up, and there's a moment of it is like a frantic scurrying of like getting up and pivoting around the librarian so that my shadow becomes bisected by something else, and it's not just attached to me. And I think I'm looking down at my shadow, it's scared.
You are all right, Miss Whitmore? The librarian is looking down at you. Right now, they're dressed in a full-on Victorian suit with a monocle.
Um, yeah, I'm very well. Thank you so much, librarian. I had everything under control. Thank you so much, though, for checking on me. That was very gentlemanly,
Indeed.
gentle person of you.
They will take out a pocket square, very ornate, embroidered, and they will hand it to you. If you need to refresh yourself.
She'll flick her wrist so that it unfolds, and she'll.
It's a lot bigger than a regular handkerchief. Let's put it that
Oh,
way. Yes.
look at this. This is beautiful. My goodness. She's dabbing at the perspiration.
Yes. It's almost like the size of like one of the not like a hand towel. It's not like a small handkerchief. Yeah. So,
Goodness, you could hide a Christmas ham in this thing.
you may keep that just in case you have any other run-ins, perhaps. But if you keep that on your person, you will find that you will not be accosted as often.
Oh, she gets very serious for a moment. Thank you. And how can I help you?
Ah, no help needed at the moment, but I was coming to find out if there was anything in particular you needed at the moment.
I think uh this is all that I can afford at the moment. Thank you.
If at any time you need to return, just remember to carry the embroidered kerchief with you.
And I'll leave empty well, empty-handed in our search to figure things out, but I guess I got a souvenir this time.
Yes, we got a souvenir. And as you're leaving and like you find the door, the double doors to leave, like, you'll hear the distant voice of the librarian like kind of call after you. Remember, it is much safer, at least in pairs. But you don't see the librarian when you possibly turn around and leave.
Oh, yeah, I'm still gonna salute because, of course, it can see me no matter where it is, because everybody can in this place.
Sure. It's the hotel.
Hmm.
For sure. So, cool. No, that was a good way to have fight it out. I was wondering how that was going to work, so that worked
Thank
out
you.
really
Yeah,
well.
thank you for helping me figure that out, Mads. And
No, that was
thank
good.
you, Will, for all those amazing additions.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. Carlos, it is your turn to pick out the game.
Oh, I have bad news for Anna, in that I have been promised to deal with the basement pool, and Carlos is going to try and drag Anna along for that.
Oh noes.
Now, how I was thinking of doing this actually, I don't know if this is, I imagine there are a number of ways we could handle the basement pool, but what I was thinking was a group, like Carlos is going to try and make an event of it in that if we get as many eyes on the pool, we have like buddy system to the nth degree. Like if everybody's watching everybody, then nobody gets sort of culled away from the herd. But I was kind of thinking of trying night swimming, but reskinning it for the basement.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like, you can totally do that. When the shadows among the stacks visited the pool for some R&R, what did the librarian think of that? The librarian didn't know that the shadow in the stacks had actually gone to the... Now, it wasn't the basement pool. It was actually the forbidden pool. Yeah, it was the outdoor courtyard and swimming pool that Shadow in the Stacks had gone in. How do I know that? Well, some enterprising guests from the Saturday group decided they were going to break into that area.
Oh, very nice.
So, yeah, that's how we knew. Do we want a 5-minute break at this point? This is hitting the hour.
That might be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, let's do a 5-minute break. All right, so I'll see you in 5.
Sock break.
Sock break.
I think Carlos is interested in throwing a pool party in the underground basement. With the understanding that this is kind of an exorcism. It's an exorcism where everybody just tries to, make the most of the time.
Oh my gosh. Which game is this?
So I feel like this starts as night swimming.
Okay. Yeah.
It might turn into something else. I'm not sure what it would turn into, possibly time after time, possibly fight it out, possibly staying alive.
Sure.
Depending on how things go.
Okay.
But I think it starts with we've all come to the, anyone who wants to.
I'm sorry, Carlos. I think you're gonna have to explain this to me again. A what party?
So the basement swimming pool is not. All right, sorry. I think Carlos breathes out and says, "Well, Madame Walmsley has expressed concern that something is haunting the basement pool. In general, if we're aware something is haunting the pool, we should probably go down there in force if anyone's planning on investigating it. I would be delighted if you would be able to turn your attentions to teasing out whatever might be wrong with that space."
No, yeah, I understood that part, but can you explain again? We all just like sit around some water and then we do what? Like
Oh,
what
well,
happens?
I mean, I suppose it is a pool. The amenities should be reasonably stocked. I suppose I should probably take some time to make sure that the water circulators are working. Uh, I mean, there's no reason why we can't make a few hours enjoyment out of it while we wait for whatever it is to make itself known.
Do we get in the water?
As a player, I'm looking over the activities.
No, I'm sorry. This is um I looked it up. Pool parties did not become a thing until like the I don't know, the 40s.
Okay.
So I think Anna is just like, you want me to go check out a place? Cool, but what kind of party is this? What's happening in the water?
She's from the Gilded Age. She's like, what the hell is this?
I suppose we could treat it as a beach outing.
Ooh, I've never been to a beach.
It's, there may be if you're not interested in trying out the pool, there you could certainly promenade around the edge.
Ooh, I love a good promenade.
Sorry.
Fantastic.
I shall saunter and look for ghosties.
Does Mal get wind of this and appear to accompany them? And what or whom does Mal appear as?
So I think first that when Mal gets wind of this, that the first thing that they do is go see Madame Walmsley. Um, and very specifically to let her know and ask if she would like to be present and that they would be there with her if she did.
What? Whose idea was this, Mal? Do you know?
Carlos.
I suppose he does have some mechanical reason for wanting to do this, but
He has more reason than that.
I know. I know.
I thought it would be good to let you know. And I will happily go with you if you want to be there, but I understand if you don't.
I appreciate that.
And she will look you full in the face, whomever's face you're wearing, and she will say,
I do appreciate that, Mal. I've not been there by myself in quite some time.
You wouldn't be alone.
I know.
and I appreciate that. And she'll reach out for your hand and she will grip it quite tightly. And whether you feel it or not, I mean, the sensation, it's like she feels better for clutching on to someone, you know.
Yeah, I think right now Mal looks like the librarian actually.
I don't know whether she knows exactly what the librarian looks like because I mean, the librarian also shifts their aspects, from
Yeah,
from
so
time to
so
time.
but definitely like that similar kind of like clothing
Yes.
and very neutral looking, but one of the faces that
Hmm.
Mal has seen the librarian
Yes.
wear.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. 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 Um. And but I mean, I think that the timbre of the voice, I think, is kind of like the librarians, but she's familiar with your figure of speech or whatever, and so she knows it's obviously you. And
I guess I must brave this sooner or later. And it's best to do it with friends. I will.
I think it's too much. I'll leave with you. So you don't have to be alone.
she looks as if she's going to say something to that, but she doesn't. But you do notice that her eyes glisten a little bit when you say that. And she just nods, and then she will buck up and,
Well, there are others that don't feel as disturbed by that area as I do, so I should make sure that it is well stocked. Yes. Let's go get the cart, and let's just make sure that some of the amenities are ready to go in case I need to replenish. Yes.
And Mal's very studiously ignoring the emotion that
mhm,
she just kind of like just letting her have this moment to center herself.
yes.
And I think between this conversation and by the time you get the cart,
Mhm.
Mal has changed into one of the bellhops.
Okay, that's cool. No, that's awesome. I mean, and she feels better for that too, because generally the bellhops in the hotel are just like Toby, pretty much like big, burly reverse Dorito, and then just they'll toughs. It's basically it. Well, quite prepared. And she feels relieved, and then she'll push the cart, and be very glad for your presence next to her. Yep. So we can head down, and then I imagine that Carlos, you and Anna are heading down, like, at the same time, or you're already there.
I think Carlos has switched to like Carlos is sort of on duty, but he switched to like Bermuda shorts or something. And clogs. He's got a shirt he doesn't mind getting wet on, like
Hmm.
like a button-up Hawaiian shirt or something along those lines.
What do you think when you see him in that outfit, Anna? Because he's usually wearing his coveralls or some kind of repairman gear.
I think that that's a lot of knees. Never seen anyone's knees but my brother and daddy. Oh, um, no, I think she doesn't say anything and is like weirdly delighted by this outfit of just like, what on earth? This strange, like, hangout thing where you stand around water and sometimes you go in it. And oops, now he's got this outfit on. This is this kind of I think she's trying to distract herself from like how scary this is probably going to end up being. Right now, it's just a delightful new thing that she's experiencing.
Comment in chat that this is the most relaxed and festive we've ever seen Carlos, and I would like to remind the table that he showed up blitzed to the billiards game. So
That's true. That's very true. But I
That's
mean,
very
like,
true. I would just mean like presentation
dressed.
in
wise.
terms of
Yeah.
presentation, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
dressed.
there's a sort of an incongruity because you feel like on some level, Anna, you feel like him dressing down is also armor. Like he is making a statement, and whether that statement holds or not, it's sort of putting that out there as a goad against any concerns that happen with the ghost.
And question, since it was posed to Anna as a beach promenade or whatever, I mean, like, how is Anna dressed?
Um, she can be wearing anything she wants, can't she?
Hmm.
Because in my head, it's like she ran here. She didn't even have like a suitcase.
Yeah,
But
but you were told, like, that the hotel will provide, like,
yeah,
any amenities, including like outfits and shit, so.
yes, yes. The magical. I open up my dresser and there's things in there that just magically are my size. And
Bingo.
yeah. So I think she fell asleep the night before thinking about like what she thinks people wear to the beach. So I think she is wearing a pair of pants, but they are this really lightweight kind of linen, very summertime. She still has on her boots because I don't think she understands anything other than that. And then she has on this very frilly, like top. Uh, and it covers her shoulders, and I think it comes down like it's float to like the elbows and stuff. But it's just like somebody cut the top half off of a dress, but it is also like it's a light, flowy, comfortable fabric of like, ooh, the wind and if there's sun, I won't be too hot. And she has her braid. Oh, and she has this new thing that she's wearing. It's kind of like a scarf. It is not her shawl. Her shawl is gone. But she has this. She found some fabric and she made her own kind of like a scarf that is like lightweight, and it looks like she has made her own shawl. Why is this description so difficult? Um, she took what the librarian gave her, right? And she used it to line the inside of a much lighter kind of scarf for herself to wear. So it is on her, and she took In her room, there is a very old-fashioned looking telephone, and she took it and she took the receiver part of it and she smashed it to bits. And she has the two, they're like very beautiful, like the ends that you would put, right? And she has them on this scarf as though they're like decorations. But it is so that if something comes at her again, she will have the librarian's fabric in there and she can take this thing off and she can start swinging it around. And she has those heavy metal pieces attached to it that look decorative, but are actually just parts of the telephone and a way to protect herself.
Amazing.
So that's what she's wearing.
Anna, the action hero. Wait, MacGyver and action hero. There we go.
She's had to fight her whole life, but make it look like she hasn't been.
Hotel fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Are Carlos and Anna the first people to make it down there? Are Mal and Madame Walmsley waiting for them?
Let's go ahead since Susan's got to do what she's got to do. Let's go ahead and make Mal and Madame Walmsley get down there first, so this way, like Madame Walmsley could also like stock whatever she needs to stock, perhaps if she can find it. Like maybe things are like quite bare here from what she remembers. This isn't the outdoor pool and courtyard according to what the specific game says. Like we're heading down to the basement pool. Obviously she doesn't decide to swim here. What does Mal think of the basement pool? Like, has Mal heard anything weird about this place? I mean, do they consider anything about this place at all?
I don't think it signifies for Mal. I think that it's a space. It's not a space that there's usually a ton of people in, so like Mal doesn't spend a lot of time here.
Right.
But like yeah, like they're aware that there are anomalies and guests that come down here, and I'm sure she's been here before, but yeah, it's not there's not enough people here. They like to people watch.
Yeah, exactly. You know that besides Madame Walmsley, you know that lighter dancing, the other like one of the other anomalies does not like to come down here either. So that's a bit odd. But would you swim here?
I don't know if Mal can swim. I mean, they're mostly in compor I can never say that word. They're mostly, uh not fully in this plane of existence. So I don't know if that they could swim. They could probably get in the pool, but I don't think they could get wet.
Oh, gotcha. So basically they could walk through it is what you're saying. They could be
Yeah.
phasic. Yeah, got it. Okay. Like for Madame Walmsley, I think, this is it's done up very similar to how the outdoor pool probably is made up. It's like it's quite large and it has like a shallow end, it's got a deep end, and then it's got like the surrounding area that has like kind of like a marble type of not rim but like edging, and then like it's got the more solid concrete or like non-slip area like around it, and then like some lounge chairs like set up in different areas, and then there's like strategically placed trees in pots, just to be able to like not only create like kind of like an illusion of shade, but also like to kind of like separate different sections and such with the chairs. And then there's like a bar area that doesn't seem to be obviously manned at this point. Yeah, I mean like it's just like a very big area that has a very large pool to it, and it's gorgeous. I mean like if you're looking at the water, you can see all the way to the bottom because it's so clear. But Madame Walmsley makes sure that she is not looking at the pool at all. She makes a very wide berth around it, heads over to the bar, just kind of like checks it very cursorily just to see like if it needs anything. but she doesn't really look, at the bar refrigerator or behind it. She just kind of drives the cart as far away from the pool as she possibly can, while you guys are waiting for Carlos and Anna.
Does this pool have, is this pool at all attached to an indoor gym? Like, does it cater to people who are doing like their morning exercise routines, or would that be like a smaller pool?
No, I mean, like, I think you can probably say that, like, this could be attached to like a fitness area. There's several doors that will lead into this as well as out. So maybe there's one door that looks like it leads into a nice hallway that's probably from a fitness area. And then like there's another like dinky door that like probably is more from a maintenance area. Maybe that's where maybe that's the way you take Anna, because it's like the shortest way. Like if you try to take her like all the way down, like how the guests would come or whatever, it's like it's more opulent, but yet it's like it's a lot longer. But if you
Hmm.
take her down the maintenance hall and the maintenance stairs, it's like it's really quick.
Carlos, you're telling me that people get on these machines and they run and nothing's chasing them?
It's the hotel discourages running in the hallways, and many of our guests have a regular jogging routine that they need to cover. So the treadmills or I suppose the ellipticals if are easier on the joints.
It's good for us jogging?
Hmm. Keep the heart rate up, keep the blood flowing. Best to best to stay in touch with one's body.
Well, I'll be. Oh, look, there's Mal.
Oh, there's some bicycling too. Are you did you have you ridden a bike outside of the hotel, Anna? Or Ms. Sorry,
You can
I
call
think
me Anna.
Ms. Whitmore.
No, I saw bicycles. They were incredible. No, I've never ridden one. They looked amazing though.
Even less space to ride a bike in the hallways. So we yeah, that's what we've got the machines here for.
Hmm.
And I think Carlos makes a mental note to like come take a look at the machines at some point during this event where well, let's come back to this because I think Carlos is probably going to like make sure the machines are working near the pool, but that may actually be like that may require a coin flip. So I want to circle back around to Mal
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
Madame Walmsley.
Yeah, I think we see you come in from one of the doors, like from the fitness area, and then we greet you, and then again, Madame Walmsley. You see Madame Walmsley looking a little bit nervous, and she's definitely not looking at the pool. She's definitely staring, your way. Mal is hulking next to her in the bellhop form persona. So, yep.
I think Carlos gives Madame Walmsley a knowing and careful nod.
She returns it with a nervous smile.
Well, it's good to see us all here. Carlos, you suggested we come here to do what exactly?
Well, I know that Ms. Whitmore's been quite helpful with some of our dealing with some of our guests' thornier issues, and I thought it might be worthwhile to shake things up down here on the in the basement pool. See if we could get some enterprising eyes on whatever might be happening down here.
All right.
Also, it's been ages since I've circled around. It's been the maintenance logs in this space are off, and I needed to fix that.
As you say, I have also haven't been down here to make sure the bar is replenished. So, doing our duty, yes. And, well, at least now Miss Whitmore knows where the basement pool is, and if you choose, you can enjoy some time here and enjoy swimming or just taking your leisure in one of these chairs. Some people just like to sit here and be quiet and stare at the water.
And she pointedly does not look at the water
I
at all.
think because Madame Walmsley has been so very obviously avoiding looking at the water that most of the time that we've been down here that Mal has been between her and the pool and is looking at the water, like trying to figure out what the fuck it is that like, you know.
Right. Yeah. So, um, take turns, starting with the player who suggested breaking into the pool. You didn't really break into the pool since this is the basement pool in the first place. So, Carlos, on your
Uh,
turn, decide what
our
activity you're taking part in.
Sure. I
Flip.
think Carlos wanders over to the hot tub to the corner of the pool where the hot tub is set up.
Hmm.
Um, and pulls the cover off of it and fiddles with the machine, fiddles with the controls for the hot tub, gets the jets going, brings the water temperature up, runs his hand in the water to gauge the temperature, and then with a sigh, he takes off his clogs and dips his legs in the pool in the hot tub and just sort of sits there and lets the warmth run through him.
All right, make a flip, please.
Okay.
Heads or tails?
Heads or tails? Is there a cost? I roll heads.
Okay. So your activity
So,
is not interrupted, warped, or changed in any way.
okay. Lucky me.
Nope,
I'm not attempting enough target yet.
nope, nope. Let's see. Who is next? I guess it would, if we're going in character keeper order, then I guess it would be me. Let's see. What do I want to, in order to keep busy, and she will show you, Mal, that she appreciates you kind of keeping her like guarded from the pool. She'll just like give you a smile as she goes behind the bar, making sure that it is, yeah, she opens up the poolside bar, and then between her cart and the refrigerator that's there, making sure that she's got all the ingredients that she needs, and she'll like start serving drinks.
I'm able to make some cocktails here. If you need anything, Carlos, I know that we're still on duty, but
Hmm. You
there
can
is
see.
special beer here. As I remember correctly, there is a special beer here that has a little bit of the fey taste, as I've been told, but yet does not carry the alcoholic effects.
I think Carlos sort of gives this snort laugh and says I think I'll have to be the judge of that myself.
She
Um,
passes you a bottle.
all right, and he doesn't leave the hot tub for the moment, but
Oh no.
he graciously accepts the bottle.
You're
Um,
seeing the label on the bottle, and it's like a smiling man with like some kind of like a medieval type, like, apron and shirt. But what's really weird is that the label itself has this strange shimmer to it. Not only to the label itself, but like when you turn it, it's like it's almost like there's a shimmer above it.
do I think this is a Hotel Anomaly's passion project?
Anyway,
I think he kind of he smiles at that and toasts Anna and tries a sip of it. How drinkable are we talking here?
what do you? Okay, so paint the scene, and it's like, what are the three things that Carlos thinks of automatically, like the best scent, the most nostalgic memory, and the, well, the loveliest taste.
All right. The best scent is going to be floral. It's some kind of honeysuckle.
Hmm.
Not too heavy, but not too overpowering, but enough to sort of curl in at the edges of one's perception. And he is transported back to a time when he was not here. He was in a outdoor pool as the golden hour gave way to dusk, with the buzzing of cicadas as the land quieted around, as the landscape around sort of quieted down for the evening, and a breeze blow through a time before this service when he enjoyed a when he enjoyed a poolside beer on at sunset. I think the taste is I think the taste is darker than expected. Maybe it's not quite as hoppy as hoppy as expected. It's more malt based. Um, there is an almost a bit of a melancholy in the a sort of an almost a sort of a melancholy in the taste that jars interestingly with the memory. Um, a dark rich sorrow almost,
Like that.
and maybe a hint of chocolate.
Rich sorrow and chocolate. I love it. Oh my gosh. Amazing.
And so he blinks for a moment as he takes a sip of this, and then he like looks at the label again.
Is the man smiling at you?
The man, yes, and the smile is knowing.
Oh, oh. Is it? Oh, do I make it that? No, because I think he's human. Never mind.
I imagine somewhere in there, Madame Walmsley gets a coin flip, right?
Ah, yes. Sorry. So, poolside bar, start serving drinks. I think, before I do that, let me just find out. Um, Miss Whitmore, do you, hmm, do you imbibe? Do you have a particular thing that you wanted to try?
Oh, um, yeah, yes, I am Bab. Um, I, I'm really just used to taking what's available. Uh,
Ah, mm, let me make you a, ah, fitting. Let me make you a California sunset. There's an ingredients for making this particular mixed drink, and then she sloshes, and it's cold. It's like kind of like a cold frozen drink, so she sloshes in like the ice in there, and then like it's the distribution of the colors and all this kind of stuff, and then she hands it to you in this very strange, to you, shaped glass with a straw and an umbrella in it. Here you go. Be careful. There's a lot of it, but maybe exhilarating when you take your first sip.
oh, thank you so much. She's a delighted little child again. Like she's just looking at this thing like, it's the best day ever.
And Mal, I know you don't necessarily eat or drink, but is there anything I can provide from this bar?
No, I'm okay. I I won't taste it anyways.
She looks a little sad at that. That she can't give you anything that. Hmm. I know you can't taste anything. Mm. How about this instead? And then, as she's making a drink for herself, she'll sing a little sea shanty. It's a very simple melody with very simple words, and it's a bit of melancholy to it, like similar but a counterpoint to the melancholy that you taste in the Fey beer, Carlos. But it's like she'll sing it to you, Mel. So even though you can't eat and drink, this is something that she can share with you, just like the music in the music room and such, right? So I mean, like, she's sharing with you a tune that she knows.
I think that makes him smile. He's just very, very excited to like be getting to share things with all of you.
Yep. So let's see. Oh boy, that is a tails. So
Oh
let's see.
no.
It's a cost. Ugh. Oh god. Here. Well, let's do the obvious one. Something inside the pool calls her name. Well, it says pool shed. So I think on the opposite side of the pool from the bar, in the corner that we didn't necessarily see because it's in the shadowed part without the sconces, or behind maybe some of the potted trees or whatever. There's a pool shed that, like, supposedly has some of the pool noodles or whatever, like, the blow up mattresses or what have you, or maybe some of the extra chairs for the lounging. And I think as she's making the drink, she finishes singing the little sea shanty and kind of quite pleased with herself. Like, she's taken her mind off of looking at the pool and just enjoying making things and serving everyone. She hears it. I don't think anybody else necessarily hears it, but I think her eyes start to drift in that direction of the pool shed. And when her eyes fall upon this little, like, square building that's behind the potted trees, she'll hear it. Evelyn. 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 It's almost like a caress. She hears it like that. I don't know if anybody else would. But, and when she does hear it, maybe whomever's near her will see that her eyes start to spring a tear or two.
Madame Walmsley, are you okay?
She'll turn to you with shining, I mean, tear-filled eyes, Mal, and say,
Memory haunts. Just as much as ghosts and spirits do. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
We're here with you.
Yeah. And here. I set the drink down and I only have one sad little pocket on this in this outfit. And I'll pull out a relatively small thing and I'll hand it to you. I was gonna give this to you anyway, and now it's like I'm paying for the drink, so here you go. And it's a very small, relatively flat piece of black tourmaline. And the charms that Anna gives out very voraciously have all been very cheap things that are, she has made somehow. And she did make this, but looking at it, I think Madame can realize this is a real piece of black tourmaline. And Anna has painstakingly scratched as much as she can, on this hardy piece of rock. She has scratched the a stylized eye. So she gives it to you.
Thank you. I still have your other charm that you gave me.
And she fishes it out of her pocket and then puts it, like, next to the eye that you just gave her.
Well, yeah, they have different purposes. Gotta have a charm for every occasion.
Well,
This one, This one, it's it's sup supposed to be the evil eye, or I didn't learn a whole lot about it, um, but the stone, that black stone, it's supposed to soak up all the black dark things around it. It holds it, so it doesn't get into you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Uh, I did anybody else hear anything just a second ago? And I'm gonna walk over to the shed.
I think Mal will like look at Madame Walmsley, like just kind of seeing how if she is okay, and if she doesn't seem like she's panicked, um, Mal will follow Anna.
Yeah, she seems to be like, relatively calm, but she's gripping the charms that Anna has given her, and then like, just holding on to them and then looking down at them, and yeah, just concentrating on the fact that she's made some good things for Anna, like the drink, and at least gave you a little pleasure with the song, and it's just kind of like watching Carlos dipping his feet into the hot tub and enjoying his beer.
I think Carlos was just on the edge of lowering his upper leg, lowering his entire lower half into the hot tub when Madame Walmsley when Anna and Madame Walmsley started interacting, and he sort of stopped himself and is just sort of perched, just pretending not to watch them, but also watching them.
Okay, so
So the
All
so
shed.
right. I go over to the shed. Yes. Um, and I am poking around. I I don't imagine that it's locked, or maybe the lock falls off relatively easy when I go to open it. And I stick my head in there, and there's another delighted little child sound from me, and the rest of you can hear like a muted, "What the hell size butterflies is this thing for catching?" And it's like it's the leaf skimmer, right, from the net, the leaf net from the top of the pool. And Anna's just in there poking at things, and I will roll. Oh shoot, that's a tails.
ooh, pick a cost.
Mal is right behind me though,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
I think I will, after seeing the net, I'll look at you and say, do you know what some of these things do? Do you know about pool parties?
Kinda. Just a party where people swim.
Inside the shed, as I'm talking to you and asking about things and you're answering my questions, I think the temperature in this shed descends into freezing.
Uh,
Is the shed floor wet or dry?
It's wet.
does it get cold enough that it becomes like icy, the floor, or
Yes. Yes.
okay, so there is something visible that Mal will be able to notice because Mal's not going to be able to feel the temperature difference.
You just watch as I start shaking and my lips
Yeah,
turn blue.
yeah. Are you, are you okay?
No. Oh, get out. Come on, out. Get out of here.
Is it cold
I'm gonna
enough that
leave.
is it cold enough near you, Anna, that your breath, the condensation in your breath is visible?
Yes. We're talking what? Water freezes at 32, so we're talking low 30s, high 20s.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
definitely visible.
I
Yeah.
think Mal kind of shoos you out of there and like is now like looking very intently at like everything in here, trying to figure out. what's going on because they haven't seen another anomaly yet.
And I think Madame Walmsley will see you come out of there quite quickly.
Miss Whitmore, what's wrong?
Don't go in there. Uh, it's a it's a it's a different climate in there.
Come here, quickly. Come to this side
But
of
I
the.
I want to drink my cold drink. Oh,
I should have something here if you need something warm. Please come to this side of the pool.
I'll go over next to you.
There's like a hot water spigot there, and then she does find some tea bags. Like she deplores them, but she has them on hand just in case for this instant necessity. And then she will drop some mint tea bags into a cup, into a mug, and then like instantly hand that to you.
Here, hold this, so it'll warm up your hands. And
She'll take off her shawl, and then she'll put it around your shoulders.
What happened?
I went in there and I was looking at the different things that are in there. I was asking Mal what they did. Um, and then I don't know. We were just talking, and then all of a sudden it was a little cold, and then another second later I could see my breath, and then the next second my feet, my shoes were slipping on the ground, and then I couldn't feel my face, and
Where's Mal?
was
Mal?
I mean they're right behind
Mal?
me.
Mal?
And
Mal can't hear you at the moment because they're so like intent and they're inside the shed, and like Mal's looking around and is like kind of whispering of like, whichever one of you is messing with them, don't hurt them. It's not okay to hurt them. And is like very like trying to
Oh,
trying to stick up for their friends, and letting whatever anomaly know that they're not okay with this, basically. And
that's so
like
cool.
stays in there and does that for a little bit, like, a couple times and just kind of like scowling around, until they hear like Madame Walmsley sounding a little panicked.
Yeah, because I mean, she's not willing to go to that side of the pool, but she doesn't see you. Like, in other words, like maybe she comes round enough to be able to try and see into the pool shed, but I think, like, even through the open door, I mean, all she sees is black,
Hmm.
darkness. She doesn't see you at all. I don't know like how you see the inside of the pool shed, like if there's a light source or what have you, but she does not see anything. She does not see you.
As soon as Mal hears her, they'll come out of the shed and just like, I'm you don't have to worry about me. They can't Nothing can hurt me.
How do I know that?
Well, nothing ever has.
I mean, and she just kind of like stops.
That doesn't necessarily mean that nothing ever will.
Suppose that's okay. That's right. But anyways, if there's something in there, it's being very sneaky.
Is your back to the pool shed doorway, Mel?
Absolutely, because Mal's not afraid.
I know I know we get a coin you get a coin flip out of this, and we shouldn't cause trouble for you, but Mal, Madame Walmsley, what do you see reaching out from the darkness of the pool shed towards Mal's turned back, literally or metaphysically? Like, uh, how is the pool shed putting the lie to what Mal has just said?
You're still in the big bellhop form.
Hmm?
I think just beyond you, behind you, there is a shorter figure. And all we see is, or like what all she sees is like the reflection of like glasses, like as if somebody's like, shining like a light directly on like a pair of glasses for like a human form, and that's all you see. But then, like, creeping out from the darkness, almost ready to touch your arm, is something that doesn't look quite. It's like a black hand, but this hand is not human like skin. It's like something almost reptilian and black, like a different kind of black than the darkness that it's coming out of. And she's like, her, you can see her eyes get very wide, and she just like barely whispers, "Mal, behind you."
And I think like instantly turns around and like I'm assuming that when Mal turns around, there is nothing there
Nothing.
because that would make sense with the the context of everything.
Sure.
Does
Uh,
Mel actually turn around, or does Mel just kind of invert to face the other way?
hmm, that's funny. I think that that's probably something Mal has done before, but I think in this instance, just because of the panic from Madame Walmsley, like it is a more of a human gesture. They do actually just like turn around and just kind of looks and then looks back over their shoulder like, what?
I'm not imagining it yet. I saw something.
I I believe you. I do. And they're gonna go over and they're gonna close the door.
Once I get warmed up, I'm gonna start work. My party's over. Once I get warmed up, I'm gonna start working.
Mal, you
I
get a.
I don't want to cheat you out of your coin flip, Mel.
Yeah, I actually haven't picked my I don't know what
I
my
was gonna say
activity
which one was
is.
picked.
I was just going off of your shed this
Yeah.
because I joined you with that. So I think in trying to lighten the mood a little bit after that Mal finds some pool toys and tries to distract people with them. I think so. Like, there's some pool toys, and I think the first thing is that like he's showing Anna like the little floaties and stuff, and like explaining that to her, and then uh finds a volleyball and like gets so excited that you can see the little kid energy in this very large bellhop person's form. Like they're almost vibrating with how excited they are. Like they're just like, I don't know if I can. I'm gonna try, and like tries to get somebody to go to the other side of the volleyball net because I'm assuming there's one there. It's just
Hmm.
and
This is a big space. Like I said, the pool is huge, but then so's the space. It's like imagine like being on the deck of a cruise ship, and that's what it's like, like literally. So, and Nana, if you've been like alternating between your mint tea and your California sunset, oh boy.
Alcohol and caffeine. Oh wait,
Woo!
mint.
and
It's gonna be a
yeah,
tea set.
yeah, no. But yeah, so Mal is probably going to try to get Anna to like go on the other side of the volleyball net and so that they can attempt to like to serve the ball. And like is trying to like tell her like that how like shows how she's supposed to hold her hands and like to hit it back and
This isn't in the pool, is it? It's sort of off to the side.
no,
Oh
this
yes,
is
off
off
to
to
the
the
side.
side.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna hit it and it's gonna go over the net and you gotta punt it back and it's gotta go back over the net to me.
Okay.
You think you can? We're gonna try.
Yeah.
Okay. And like they like very carefully they like go to do it and like the first time one hand just goes through the ball. And they kind of like they're holding the ball in one hand, but the other hand just doesn't connect. So they have to like
Concentrate.
And the second time it actually works and it sails over.
Nice.
I think I instinctively catch it and go, oh, wait, wait. Ah! And I'll throw it up again and I'll try to do it, and it's not great. It's not great.
Um,
I think you can then you have to like show her how to set it or whatever. It's like, oh
yeah,
God.
and like I think when she catches it, Mal just laughs, and this like big belly laugh is just totally trying very much to distract from everything that just happened,
Yeah.
and having trying to have a fun moment. But unfortunately, I rolled tails.
Oh
Oh
my God.
boy.
Yes. Yes.
Carlos, Carlos, will you get the sage out of my bag, please? I'm having too much fun right now.
Carlos carefully sets the beer down on a side table, on an end table.
What's your cost?
That's what I'm looking now. Let's see. As we're laughing and and we're playing a little bit of the volleyball, I think there's suddenly one more person here than there was before, and they are on the volleyball court. And I think they are behind Anna because of course they are, because they're going to show up right where she can't see them. Let me see. Who do you guys think would make sense as an NPC to for them to show up, whether it is actually that person or not?
Let's see.
Who do you want it to be? Right?
Yeah, part of me thinks it would be kind of interesting if it was one of the um people who were front desk that has been missing.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, can it be one of the missing people?
Oh wow. Okay.
Holy
Sure.
cow.
That's so funny. And I think wait, the ball did the ball get just served over by Anna and the ball is going to you, Mal, or did you just serve the ball back to Anna?
I think I just served it back, and that's when we noticed the other person, because that person like is closer to the ball than Anna is.
Right. And I think instinctively I think they will like, I forget what the hell the thing is. Like, they'll set it, like do the double-handed thing. And like, you don't see their face cuz their face is in shadow when they do it. And then like they'll stumble out. They'll stumble out of the shadow and you see a medium-sized man, kind of beard, goatee, mustache, like kind of like tousled hair, and he looks really disheveled. Like, he's wearing the concierge uniform, but I mean, it looks like, the jacket's open, and it looks like kind of smudged and unkempt for a while. Oh, where am
Do
I?
do we know
Where did you come from?
Well,
do
hey,
Uh,
do do we recognize him? Uh,
you might not have seen him. But you do know that that's the uniform, not badge. What am I trying to say? Like, set up for one of the front desk concierges. The- Wait, this isn't the outdoor pool, is it? No.
No, no, this is the basement.
Oh, what?
this pool is everywhere because the hotel is everywhere.
Well, that's true, but
Anna toasts with her alcoholic beverage.
ah,
hey man, what's the last thing you remember?
I remember I was at the ball. I was dancing with Avery. I think it was Avery. Um, Sorry. I'm Lane Maddox,
Oh,
one of the front desk concierges.
oh, you're missing.
What?
Come here. I'm gonna try to lead him over to where Madame Walmsley is manning the bar.
And then Madame Walmsley will like greet him like with a confused look on her face.
Maddox, you've been missing for quite some time.
And then he just looks at her like, um, how long have I been gone? And she brings up like, like a time period of like, you know, several weeks or something like that, which it has been. And he's just totally confused. He puts a hand to his forehead and it's like, it can't possibly be that long. No, no, no. I mean, and he's not wearing a watch or anything like that. But I mean, and there's no clocks or what have you. But it just feels like I've been out on a bender, but I didn't drink anything. I just was helping with a leak. I was helping with a leak in Miss Carr's room, and then I came out here.
You weren't in the shed, were you?
No, no, like I said, I was in a guest's room and I was trying to fix a leak. She kept
Oh.
calling about a leak in her room. I should probably get back to my duties.
You,
Sorry,
you've you've been gone for a while. Maybe you should rest.
I guess I should report in. And what what time is it? Is it? Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Night manager is taken over, and well, haven't seen the day manager after that business. Anyway, I'll report, and we'll see what they say. And Madame Walmsley will say,
Lane, you've been gone for some time. I'm sure the night manager will allow you to get some rest.
Oh. And food. Um Anna blindly reaches like behind the bar, and I think she finds a bag of, she doesn't know what the heck it is, but there's a kind of a potato looking thing on the front of it. Um, it's a bag of Lay's, and she'll hand it to him, and she goes, "Here, you should be dead. You haven't eaten in weeks. Here."
it doesn't feel like weeks, but thank you.
How about you sit down and just catch your breath. We're gonna be heading upstairs pretty soon anyway. Carlos is suddenly not Car Carlos doesn't want to let Maddox out of Carlos buddy system. Carlos doesn't want to let Maddox out of his sight.
Yes.
And then like Madame Walmsley will ask him if he wants a drink, and then she'll like provide him something either from the bar, or like she'll make something for him. And yeah, I mean, close it out that way. Or like, does anybody want to do anything else while we're here at the pool?
I mean, if mm. Go on. Sorry, go on.
I know that like we had a reason for being here, but I think discovering someone who's been lost for this long probably would distract us all enough that I
Hmm.
think that it would make sense that this might be the end of this particular journey.
Um,
Agreed.
I Anna was serious about asking Carlos to get her sage,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I think that she sees this as like the first really real opportunity to be helpful and to do something real.
Hmm.
So she definitely doesn't want Lane out of her sight either. So maybe it's more of a half-hearted cleansing that she does. She just burns some sage, and maybe
Hmm.
she just quickly walks the outside of the pool shed and maybe opens the door up, throws a lit bundle in and closes the door. She lights another one, and I think she'll just kind of waft Lane for a minute, and then she'll look at Madame Walmsley and she goes, "It seems wrong, but I would be willing to throw some sage in the pool. That I wouldn't get in trouble, would I?"
Someone would have to skim it out later, but I, for one, wouldn't mind if you did such a thing.
Okay. I light the bundle of sage and I go over to right to the edge of the pool, and I'm standing there. For whatever reason, I'm here in this place, and purpose is weighty. I do not know what is in this place, and so that is what I name you, unknown. And I also name you unwanted. So unknown and unwanted, get out. And I drop the lit bundle of sage into the pool.
You get a piercing impression as the bundle leaves your hand that you have something's undivided, baleful attention. Like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. There is an almost, it's not audible, but it's like a snarled challenge from the direction of the pool, and then it's gone.
I with Anna's back to everybody, they might be able to see if they're looking at her reflection in the water, but that raising of the hair on the back of her neck, um, she looks out in the middle distance, and there's her jaw drops just a tiny bit into the same shape as like when she was growling at the librarian or the growling at the shadow. She doesn't growl, but it's almost like an instinctual. And then she closes her mouth and turns around and is like,
I think when that growl came from the pool, that there was like a shudder that like goes through Mal, and like Mal kind of glitches a little for a second and is okay again right after. And I think before Anna turns around, Mal looks fine. But I think that if either of the other two were like could even see Mal like in their periphery, they would have seen the glitch.
I think Carlos is just watching Anna and making sure that I think Carlos doesn't quite catch it because Carlos is focused on what Anna is doing and whether there's an immediate reaction to that.
And Madame Walmsley is ministering to Lane, who is sitting down on one of the lounge chairs and, like, solemnly eating the chips and drinking, like, water and whatever else that she's given him. I think she's, like, kind of, like, put some of her tonics on the cart. And so I think she's, like, administered one of her tonics to him. So there's a little bit more color in his cheeks. And, I mean, you know, forever how long he's been missing, it's like, it's not going to give him, like, full health. But I mean, like, he's looking a little better, you know. So, but,
And Carlos is gonna finish his drink because opening and beginning the drink was a promise that needs to be fulfilled by the finishing of it. Um, and he will, with the empty bottle, gesture in the direction of the shed and say, next time I'm down here, I am emptying you out." That's a promise.
I think if you look at the label when you finish doing that, I think the label will have the guy going like this.
I love it.
And then he'll toss the empty beer bottle in Madame Walmsley's cart.
Yeah. We have to put those in a special recycling.
Hmm. Best not to borrow it too long, eh?
No. They must go back to whence they came. But I hope you did enjoy it.
Hmm.
Craftsman. We don't get very many of those.
More than more than I hoped for today. And
That's good.
there's a smile in his eyes.
That's good.
And actually, he looks over when he says that. He looks over at Maddox.
And she just kind of gives you a contemplative look, actually, as you do that. You seem to be, whether by talent or by coincidence, able to find missing people.
He breathes out slowly and says, I can't. I'm not willing to take credit until, well, Carlos is still not convinced that Maddox is Maddox. There's a chance that Maddox is just something shaped like Maddox. Um,
Fair.
but he's also not willing to he's not quite ready to take on the mantle of the guest whisperer. So I think he sort of downplays Madame Walmsley's statement and says, well, I've been lucky, and maybe the hotel just wanted to make sure that our wayward concierge landed where someone could see him. And what he doesn't say is that maybe we put enough pressure on this creature in the basement pool that it gave up Maddox as like a concession or something. It may not be necessarily all like he doesn't know where Maddox has been or why he showed up here, but he sort of trails off. He sort of trails off with the downplaying and says, "But it seems like we need to get you. It seems like we need to get you some water, even if you don't feel dehydrated."
As they're leaving, hey, Madame Walmsley,
Yes.
what's recycling? That's it. Just that line.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Oh no, it's my turn. Sheesh. I don't know. Let's see.
I just realized
Yeah.
something occurs to Carlos on the way back up to the public lounge is that another thing that might have happened is that the hotel or some other power in the hotel may have released Maddox into our care to distract us from spending more time near the basement pool. We might have been pushing our luck to the extent that this was our bailout.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
That makes a lot of sense. So, especially because it's like, considering Mal was also threatened. It's like, yeah. Anyway, so I think I'm going to pick Working for the Weekend because we haven't done that one yet. So let's give this all a try. Or taking a break. Anyone can play, so I want everybody to go ahead and join in. During the game, anyone can ask for details of the setting, occasion, and circumstances. Begin by describing the first thing your character is doing to relax, let loose, or forget about their responsibilities for a while. So this could be at any point, right? After this point. Conducting the break. Take turns. On your turn, decide what kind of break you are taking to unwind. Choose a prompt from the list or come up with your own. Describe what happens or role play it out with other players. If no breaks jump out at you, you may pass or decide to head back to work or whatever you usually do in the hotel. Ending the game. The game ends when everyone has taken a break, if no one wishes to go more than once. Everyone has passed in a row or everyone has gone back to work. So, go ahead and pick out a prompt if you want to join in a break and answer your question, narrate. If you want somebody to join in a little bit of role play, you totally can. I got to figure out what to choose because they're all fun. And we know there's an arcade because you guys obviously found it. Oh, they're all so good. I have no idea.
I know which one I want to do.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Anna decides to take a break and grab some food at one of the hotel's restaurants. And She wanders the hotel for longer than she thinks she has to. She keeps opening up doors that she thinks lead to somewhere to eat, and then it ends up, you know, like she finds the billiard room like 3 times, and then she finds a weird place that has a bunch of reflective surfaces, and then she finds the area that they had the continental breakfast, but it's closed down because it's not breakfast. And she's like, "What on earth? I'm hungry." And she stops in front of a door in a long hallway that is gold, like rich, bright yellow gold. And there is a smiling dragon face on the front of it. The jaw is wide open and the tongue hangs out and curls in extravagant directions. And the smell coming from behind this door, never in her life. What is this? And she opens it up and she steps into a Chinese restaurant. And everything is rich is just the word that keeps coming to her mind. The saturated reds and the there's like velvet lining almost all of the surfaces and shiny glass covering beautiful hand painted parchments and tapestries, and there are people carrying around giant trays that have like animals on them that she's never seen before, and the smell is incredible. And she sits down and she tells the waiter to just bring her a favorite. Just, I've never eaten anything like this before. Just bring me what's popular. Bring me your favorite. And the food that gets set in front of her is, she actually gets like 5 courses. Yes. And I mean, it's just, I just imagine the best Chinese food you've ever had in your life. Just ugh. In a corner booth that's like, it's almost like an L-shaped corner and a circular table, the like two geometric shapes being opposition to each other. Um, in the shiny back part on the wall, like where the people would sit and lean their heads back, she sees the glass fog up a little bit, and that man, I guess we can call him, in the glass kind of appears for a second, looking around, taking in the scenery. I think he notices her but doesn't look at her overly long, and then fades back and away.
Is that the man behind the mirror
Man
or
behind the mirror, yeah.
okay. How's he doing? Like,
He's at a distance. He's at the opposite corner of the restaurant from her. He seems to be okay from this distance, although he appeared kind of seemed to be looking around for something intently and then vanished again. She was not gonna call out to him to have a conversation. I think she goes to bed that night dreaming about duck, just what it tastes like. Never would have occurred to her. Ugh, this world is so big and so small at the same time.
oh, did she get one of those platters of Peking duck with the
And I imagined a bunch of seafood things that she was like, "What is this? This isn't a real creature, and it's just like a crab or something."
Okay, I think I am picking out. Madame Walmsley is going around again, doing her usual rounds, and she's kind of relieved that Lane's at least back as concierge, because that means someone's back in that duty, and she's not likely to be called up to fulfill that role, and will be less likely to disappear, hopefully. Yeah, so that's fine. So she's been filling some of the carts, or to kind of replenish some of the linen stores in some of the hallway closets and such. And I think as she's doing that, she's fulfilling one of the closets, and then she turns and then bumps into, well, she first cannons into like a suited fellow. Like, that's the first thing that she sees. It's like a black suit. And then she realizes it's a tuxedo. And then she slowly looks up, and then, like, looks into the eyes of a relatively handsome man, probably brown hair, and he looks into her eyes. There's no sense of recognition, and he apologizes for, you know, um, bumping into her. And then, like, they both stop, and there's a slight sense of recognition in his eyes, just for a second, and then there's a definite sense of recognition and shock in hers. And she just murmurs, more to herself than to him, "It can't be." Aaron. And he looks at her rather blankly, and then he'll kind of shake it off and say, "Pardon, I have to head back and serve my mistress."
What was the name that she called him by?
Aaron.
Aaron. All right.
And she will just watch him go to down the hallway into one of the rooms, and she'll wait a few minutes before she tries to follow. And then she goes into one of the rooms that she recognizes as one of the suites, and she goes into the suite and realizes that he's gone. She doesn't know where he went. She'll tentatively call out to him, call out for him, and she doesn't hear anything. She'll look through the rooms in the suite, one by one, careful, fearful, but he's not there. And she comes back out, very confused, very puzzled, and she'll come back out and continue on with her duties.
I think Mal has been a little unsettled since being at the pool, because something happened and they're not entirely sure, because it's not like they kind of felt something, and they're not they're not even sure how to put words to it, but it's definitely made them feel a little bit off. So I think they wanted to find comfort in one way or another. So they've gone to their favorite spot, which is the library, and have kind of settled in to a corner that is got, like a little seating area. Has got like some like floor pillows and things like that, and is reading a book, and just, flipping through the pages like they normally do, which is it's another book that has lots of pictures in it of people. Like, it's all these like historical people, like portraits and things like that. And I think that they spend far more time looking at this one book than they normally would. Like, they just kind of, it's flipping through as if they're not actually seeing it. and then realizing that they missed things and go back a few pages and looking at things again and just trying to be present and failing horribly at it. And eventually they kind of sigh, they close the book, and they go and put it back to its spot on the shelf. And they look at the other books on the shelves for a little while, like just, deciding if they want to try to read something else, if they want to try, and then kind of just and just phases through the wall and walks off.
I think we are in a we're in what accounts for what qualifies as Carlos's office, or at least a place that has a desk and a cork board and notes, an inbox of issues to be resolved. There is a radio that is playing Rachmaninoff very loudly. It can probably be heard from a significant distance down the hall, as can probably the scent of weed smoke. However, the fan is running. So Carlos isn't hotboxing or anything like that. The room is reasonably ventilated. And the joint that he's smoking is sort of half forgotten. Like he's not he's slightly buzzed, but he's staying relatively focused. Carlos is building and decorating dioramas of rooms. He has, out of plywood and wood glue, he has been assembling. It would be a dollhouse if there were a number of rooms all together, but it is individual rooms on bases. And he has a shelf in his office where a number of these rooms have been stashed. There's like a gray tarp or something that's been pulled over the shelf so that people who just wander into the office don't see them. And he is working on a room that was previously built. It looks like a bedroom. And he is carefully painting roses on the wallpaper to change out the color palette of the room. There aren't any figures in any of these dioramas, but as Carlos studiously works on repainting and redecorating this particular diorama, he can with his mind's eye sort of put somebody in this room. Maybe it's Mal, maybe it's the man behind the mirror, maybe it's a preteen in a precious looking pinafore with a rose in her hair. And then I think at some point he sort of shakes the spell is broken. He picks up the diorama and he puts it back on the shelf and he starts looking for a different one to start updating.
Does anybody want to go again, or should we say that everybody goes back to what they were doing? Or work goes back to what they're doing and close out of that game.
Oh, with a full and happy belly, Anna's ready to get back to work.
After looking through the suite and not finding the tuxedoed man, I think Madame Walmsley is going to continue with finishing out her duties, and she's going to go back to her own room, and she's going to dig underneath her bed into a small little box. She doesn't look at this often, but when she does, she pulls out a locket, and in it she sees a picture of a man that looks very much like the man that she bumped into in the hallway. And she puts the locket away, puts the back in the box, and puts the box back under her bed. And we'll kind of look around and up and say,
I don't know what you mean by this. I saw it. He was taken. He was dead. How is this possible?
Yeah, I think Mal just kind of floats through the hotel for a while, just kind of wandering aimlessly. I don't think there's anything else for them for this game.
I think the last like image we see of Carlos painting a newer scene, redecorating one of these dioramas. It's a lounge scene, and he is trying his best to add to the wallpaper in this scene a pattern that a pattern that one would recognize from the shawl that Anna was wearing today. The one that she pinned the librarian's kerchief into the inside of. He is decorating the parlor in her colors.
Oh,
so cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we close out of that game. And so that would make, we probably should close out for the evening. And then for the next time, it would be Mal that picks out the first game of the next time. So some time to think what you want to do for that, Mal, and then how we want to land this plane. Take a few moments to discuss now, I guess. Do we want to land the plane next week, or do we want a couple more sessions to figure that out? What do you think? What are we thinking?
I'm feeling like I think we would be good with two. So not landing the plane next Friday, but maybe the Friday after that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah?
Yeah?
What do you guys think?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that works.
All right, cool.
It feels like, to me, it feels like we're in, right? We're in the falling action
Yeah,
section of the story, right?
love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so stars and wishes, folks. I mean, stars are things that you liked about the session, roleplay, gameplay, each other, and wishes are what you want to see for the next couple of episodes to land the plane and just, see what you want to see about the hotel, the characters, all that fun stuff. Yeah. Taken and dead are very different words, I know, right?
Um, I think I already complimented Mads and Will earlier on like something that happened in the moment because I had forgotten about stars and wishes. So I'll give a star to Mack of that the shed. Like, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? How Mal like reacted while they were in the shed, and then the moment with Madame Walmsley outside of it, like it felt very cinematic to me. Like I just saw in my head what was happening, and how you were saying Mal was reacting to things. Like that was just that's I loved that. That was so good. Like that was such a great moment.
Wishes? Did you have any wishes?
I love a good mystery, and I feel like there's a mystery here, but
There's
it
a
feels
few,
like it's
actually.
I know it feels like it's not just, oh no, where did the concierges go? Like I feel like we've just kind of scratched the surface at what the other, like what is the question we actually should be asking? And I'm like, ugh, I'm more, I want to figure it out.
Yeah, I think I've said a couple times that like I could play this game much longer. I enjoy these characters. I love the mysteries and things that we've threaded together for it. It's a lot of fun. I am in two games right now that I greatly enjoy both of them, and I'm going to be sad when this one ends. But as far as stars, like I loved seeing Carlos like semi-relaxing, putting his feet in the hot tub, having a beer, like that. Like it was very nice to see him not feel like he had to be busy because I don't think we've really seen that. He's always go, go, go. Seeing Madame Walmsley have the courage to be in a place where she does not want to be, but is still trying to be the wonderful person that she is and just like, trying to take care of everybody around her while she's not doing great, but she's being brave and she's there. And I think that was really awesome too. I liked that. And for Anna, I like that we got to see her do a little bit of her occultist style stuff. We got to see her do a little bit of cleansing and got to see multiple charms and things, so that was nice too. As far as wishes for me, I want us to solve one of the mysteries. Like that would be cool. Like we have so many mysteries going on. I would really love it if we like figured one of them out. That would be cool.
I mean, even if we're not going to be like playing the actual, like, what is it, Private Eyes game or whatever, like on the Miro board, I mean, like, it would behoove us to at least like throw some shit on a post-it note onto the board and at least be able to say, okay, what questions have we figured out so far? It's like the mysteries of the missing concierges, the mystery of like what the hell's going on with the basement pool, what the hell's going on with like this, that, and the other thing, like whatever we've come up with so far, because like I feel like we've kept on bringing up all these fun things, and it's like we keep on forgetting to, delve into them further, or like again some threads that sort of are connected, but we're not sure how yet, you know, or the mystery of like the people on the balcony or whatever. So it's like I kind of hinted at like there's a connection there to whatever the hell's going on with Walmsley, but I I have an idea of like where that's going, so I'm not sure whether you guys are getting an inkling of what that is, but whatever. It's fine. I guess I'll go. Yeah, I mean, it was really awesome to see like Carlos like, kick back a little and not like, feel like, okay, gotta like, figure this out, gotta take people around. Yeah, it was a lot of like taking people around and exploring for the last few times that Carlos was like, in the spotlight. So it was kind of nice to like, see him just kind of again, like work on some stuff, but also enjoy himself. And I really appreciate Star to the description of like what it was like, with my prompts, but your descriptions together of what it was like to drink the Fey beer. It was really evocative, and I enjoyed that very much. For Mal, again, like as Susan said, I mean, like the cinematic actions of like how Mal was reacting. Mal is not the usual anomaly. Like the anomalies are really like supposed to fuck with the guests, which Man Behind the Mirror has. I mean, like lighter dancing up to a point has, but I mean, like is also kind of like helpful in a way, depending on what it is. And then, but Mal has been very involved with their particular group, which I think is awesome. And I think they're a lot more human oriented than they would think, than he would think, right? So I think it's awesome to see, and I love that connection that she's been making with Madame Walmsley, like helping her, like kind of bolster her up to, like, be brave enough to be able to go downstairs to the basement swimming pool. That's lovely, like, to feel like I don't know whether to feel friends enough with Madame Walmsley or some kind of like personal responsibility. I don't know however we want to put it, that empathy, like empathetic feeling that Mal's experiencing of like, no, I mean like if it's comfortable for you, like I'll be there for you, and if it's not, like let's go back, let's go out together or whatever. I think that's great. I mean, like that was very human of Mel, and I thought that was lovely. Oh my gosh. And then Anna, feisty, fucking feral and feisty. That fight scene was awesome. Facing off against the shadow. Yep, absolutely. So that was a good way to deal with it, and it's like I love to challenge you. So, way to face off against the shadow and the stacks. And I mean, granted, you did have a tiny bit of Deus Ex Machina with the librarian, but I think you probably would have tried to take out the shadow even if they weren't there. So, that was a good scene. Yeah, I mean, and then Anna be using what she knows to try and dispel the spirits or the malevolence that was in the basement swimming pool. So I think it's the start of something. And unfortunately, because you started something, something's staring at you back and it's not liking it. So that's going to be a wish of one of those things culminating. Not necessarily a mystery, but like something culminating, right? I mean, like one of the best things about the unknown, which I love, like the way you did that invocation. I love the way you did that, Susan. The creepiest thing about the unknown is like when you don't see it necessarily, you don't necessarily name the thing, but you just know it's there and you dread it, and that's creepy as hell, and I love it. So even if we do a face off, Dunwich horror style, I don't mean don't care. It's like the hotel. Is the hotel helpful? Is the hotel, part of that malevolence? Who knows? I don't know. That's part of the mystery. I mean, there's like so many. And then one of my wishes is, of course, being able to kind of not necessarily resolve, but at least to be able to show what the hell's going on, like why Walmsley fears or is very emotionally wrought when she gets down in the basement swimming pool by herself, and what's the deal with the tuxedoed guy. Yeah, I have a story for that, but we'll see if it pans out over the next couple of weeks. Okay. And then yeah, I mean, to see if there's any other threads that anybody else wants to kind of trace and finish, or at least be able to bring to some sort of conclusion of sorts, by the end of our series. So yeah, I can't wait to see what people find interesting and want to pick on. Yeah.
I would say a star to Mads and Mack for the very gentle, vulnerable scene leading up to the pool expedition. Like I sort of threw the pool expedition as sort of a gauntlet down to both, supernatural shenanigans and sort of messing around with the event. But that was a rough hand to deal Madame Walmsley. And I really appreciated Mal sort of checking in with her and being her rock and letting her come to terms with the idea and provide a support network where she could engage with it. I felt like that seriousness really helped ground what it was we were doing with the pool, and I really liked that. Mads, going down the list of drinks that you were offering to people was just a love letter to the other players. The Fey beer and the California sunset. And I really enjoyed the way that you sort of used your turn in the pool to spotlight all of the other characters. And I think that speaks to Madame Walmsley as well. Susan, I loved the thread where Anna is too early period for pool parties. And I also wrote down that's a lot of knees as a delightful note. Um, I enjoyed this sort of fish out of water for different reasons. I enjoyed that thread that you were carrying through the through this entire expedition. And then as a turn of phrase, I name you unknown and I name you unwanted. Having that sort of hero moment with the sage. I'm looking forward to seeing what the ramifications are for that. For a wish, I want to know why Maddox was returned to us. I want to know what thesis the hotel is trying to underscore or reinforce by giving Maddox back to us at that particular moment, or even by taking him away in the first place, if it is in fact the hotel that was responsible for that. I want to know who summoned the parasitic library to the hotel and whether that's a temporary or a permanent arrangement. I'm looking forward to seeing this is less of a wish, but I know we have at least like four different antagonists that we're sort of floating around, and I'm looking forward to seeing how many of them come up in what combinations in the next two sessions. The library, the voice in the music room, the basement pool entity, and the lilac the lavender and vanilla, the jasmine and vanilla party in the balcony. Like those are all sort of menacing presences, and I love the connection that you tossed out at the very end, Mads, with connecting your character to the tuxedo man who's currently the captive of that last one, because that gives us a very firm direction that we will be able to take the next session. And then I don't know what ending. I don't have a sense of where Carlos is going to end, and it really comes down to Carlos's MO is that he is tr Carlos said something to Leader Dancing last session about how guests and anomalies and staff are all just sort of entities who are residents of the hotel on a continuum. Like we're all sort of building this community together. I want to know if that's a viable approach or if something is just going to put a knife in that idea. Um, that, staff is staff and guests are guests and the torment comes for one and the other, or what have you. Like, does Carlos have a chance to build this community or is he doomed? And is he gonna realize it? So that's a lot to ask for two more sessions, but I imagine we'll have some fun with it.
I mean, again, the hotel was, is, and always will be. So I mean, it's always ever changing and evergreen. So who knows what it's gonna look like, or who knows what it looked like before, right? So yeah, I mean, like, your question could be answered in all sorts of different ways. Oh man. And especially because it's like the crop of NPCs that you can pull from, because I mean, again, it's like the interpretation of what it's like, even if because of the shared board. I mean, like, even your other series, like sharing the hotel with you, may not be necessarily sharing the hotel with you, right? So what continuum are they on? Are they in the same world? Are they in different iteration? Fuck if I know. I don't know. So, yeah. And just so you know, I mean, out of character, I just want to point out, I'm just going to mention that there's like, some prestige playbooks. Like, so if you were going to really extend this for a bit, like there's like, you can become the manager or one of the managers, where somebody really bumps themselves up. Like a guest can become part of the staff, as Heath has become. And then, like, I forget, or I think something can become an anomaly. Or, the anomaly becomes something else, something even more changed. So, I mean, I forget exactly what the playbooks are, but anyway, yeah, I mean, like there's a few ways of like not necessarily upgrading, but I mean, like, you know, having a different extension of your character. So yes, I mean, like there's different ways you can go even after things go pear-shaped, as Susan said earlier. um if you decide to leave, or like your character dies, or you all decide to burn down the house, who knows. Anyway, so leaving you a lot to think about for next time, for what you want to do. So, Mal, your turn comes next in picking out our first game of the next session. And I will wish you happy gaming for the week, whatever you're up for doing. And I will see you all next time. Thank you. See you guys.